The last time I attempted to play Yu-Gi-Oh was I I have a Oculus Rift, so I downloaded that VR Yu-Gi-Oh
Oh, for
game,
sure.
which it's a lot of fun, but it's not like this where like it tells you how to play the game or like uses all the mechanics. It's basically like you
Mhm.
get a deck and a wing and you have to know how to play the game. So
Yeah.
now that I
Yeah.
do though, maybe I could go back.
Yeah, maybe you'll be a pro at it now.
Yeah.
It'll be incredible.
Okay, so I'm gonna get started with some questions. What's
Hell
up,
yeah.
dog? How's your day going?
It's going good. It's been pretty chill. I went to the farmers market this morning with my girlfriend and that was cool.
Nice.
And then otherwise just kind of playing video games and chilling. What about you?
I I had band practice.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it. I had band practice. I went to a house showing. It was a terrible
Oh,
place.
nice. Oh, well, not nice. Never. That's a bummer.
But Maxwell and Luke from Enswell and I are looking for a place together right now, so
Oh, damn. That's cool.
that's
In
exciting. In
in
Madison,
Madison?
yeah.
Hell yeah. That's tight. Hell yeah. Does EMWAY practice every week? Are you like that kind of band where you like
We try to. It's been
uh
tough like the last month. Hold on, I'm trying to read what this does.
Oh, you're fine. It's that I put the timer on it the longest possible for this
Okay,
exact reason.
that's perfect. Yeah, because I suck.
Oh no,
Um,
there's a lot of
okay.
words on cards. Okay, let me see. What are we working with here? Okay, it's continuous, special summon. Okay, so I mean just in case. it's, I feel so
God
bad that
damn.
I'm making you play this right now, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see what happens, I suppose.
The thing is, you can click buttons and kind of get somewhere. So,
Yeah,
that's
that's the best part about this. So that being said, let's get started with some of these questions. So, how does it feel to be back, fully back in the Stars Hollow shit?
it feels good. It feels weird too. Um, I'd say it feels good in the sense that like music is such a big part of my identity that like not having it for a while was really weird. Um, so being back is nice in that regard, but it's also weird because like I don't know, like we were most active in like 2019, into 2020. So it just kind of feels like we were in like a time capsule and like we're coming back out and things are just like a lot different than they are now.
Yeah,
They're different now than they were back then, I should say. Um, so it's great. It feels fantastic, but it's also one of those things where I'm just kind of having like a weird kind of like emo time capsule jet lag.
yeah. No, I definitely feel that. And like, God, yeah, it's been so long. That was like one of the questions that I had actually was, how are you feeling about like the current state of the scene as compared to when you put out I Want to Live My Life, or I guess because that came out like that was early 2021, right? So that's like when everything
Yeah.
was starting back up. So around then or like before COVID even.
Yeah, I think I mean the scene is a lot, how do I put it? It's a lot more cohesive, I feel like, than it was back then. Um I just think a lot about the fact that like when Stars started or even when like Happy Again came out, like we were like an odd one out kind of band. Like there weren't a lot of bands that were like us. Like we were friends with like Nice and Jail Socks and Gami
Yeah.
and everything. Um but it was just like there wasn't this huge rally of people behind it, like by any means.
Mhm.
Whereas now, like you see bands like Red Sun, for example, who are like
So
young
good.
and so good, and they put out a release and it's like people are just like so fucking hyped about it, which is deserved. It's a really good release. I just think that's like a stark contrast because back then, like I think about us releasing Happy Again or Gami releasing Doing the Most, or just other bands that are putting out EPs. None of us back then could put out an EP and have it blow up quite like that has. And so I
Yeah.
think that's a really good testament to one, how good that band is, and two, the fact that there's like people who give a shit about this type of music right now. So I think that's one big difference, is that there's more of a scene and a more supportive one. Oh, sorry, the game's telling me that I am gonna surrender
Oh
if I don't.
no.
Um, so yeah, so like overall, I think it's in a really good place in a lot of ways. It just feels weird getting older and being like one of the old guys in the scene. But yeah, it's cool.
Oh, that's cool. Sorry. This game is like just so wild. Like I have no idea what's going on sometimes. Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like I think even just like from like a local standpoint, I've noticed that Madison um has there's a lot more like even just emo stuff going on just in Madison.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like and like when I first saw you guys, that was like kind of my first foray into that genre. And I came back to Madison. I was like, man, I wish there was shit like this around Madison. And there was like one band, kind of, but not really.
For sure.
And I think like since COVID, it's definitely like the Madison scene has definitely been going in that direction.
Yeah.
But I also think like cohesiveness is the best way to put it because you know like I feel like it suddenly feels like no like out of town scene is too far for anybody to be a part of, especially
Yeah.
with the like DIY Discord. I think there's a lot more uh, nice banter on Twitter than there was before COVID.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'd agree with that. I would agree.
um, and I think everybody is out to everybody wants to see everybody else do well, and I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of that before.
Yeah. No,
So
I agree with that. I think that there is definitely like more camaraderie and more like, okay, hell yeah, like lots of bands can exist and do cool things at the same time. It's not like a weird competition as
mhm.
much.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Riley asked, do you think COVID and lockdown has pushed people to be more connected and supportive online, which spreads further than local word of mouth? Yeah, okay, that's what we just talked about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because I would agree with that in a lot of ways. I still think that like local and word of mouth do a lot
mhm.
and it's still super important. But yeah, I mean after COVID, I think everyone's just like, oh, we need to show up for shit that we care about because
What the
we
fuck?
won't always have.
What is this? What is? God damn it! I like looked away for 2 seconds. I have no idea how to do this like fucking fusion shit or whatever, but that's
Oh, this
okay.
yeah, I'm so like I said, I'm sorry. I have absolutely put you into
It's all
a
good. I
a
gotta,
nightmare scenario.
yeah, I gotta learn somehow, right? I mean, this is how I got good at Counter Strike. Was I played with my friend who's like pro level, so you know.
Yeah, and then you learn. I'm unfortunately like bottom like upper bottom tier of Yu-Gi-Oh players. I'm like not that good, but I enjoy it and this is like my pet deck. It's like the deck that I like playing.
Kyle brought up that I should mention to anybody watching because I bring it up every time I see you. But the first time that I saw you in Stevens Point, when y'all were playing with Charmer, and like in my friend's basement and with my friends, like what kind of music was he playing? Was it like
was like
grind
black metal or
black
something, I
metal,
think.
yeah. And I know it was like just bass and drums, and
Yeah.
but like the person who lived on the first floor like was letting everybody have like drink. He had a keg and he was letting everybody drink out of it, but somebody took his Confederate flag off of his wall and burned it in the front yard. And then later in the evening, he came downstairs and threatened he pulled a knife out and was like, I'm, I don't
Yep.
remember what he said, but it was just like very awkward. And like, I was kind of startled, but didn't really know how to react to it.
Yeah, it was fucking weird because he was like so sure that us or Charmer did it. There was another
Right.
band that I don't remember if were from out of town or not, but they were the ones that did it, and I was like, that's sick as fuck. Good
It,
on them.
it was my friend Oscar Netzel and his band, which I don't remember.
Oh,
I think maybe it was Elk Startled by Thunder. I'm not sure, but
that sounds right.
I know it was him because I went to a show the week after that and told him the story, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that was me," and I was like, "Good."
That's sick as fuck. Yep.
I remember the dude asking, like, he kept coming up to me and asking me about it, and then at the end of the night, I was like, "Look, man, if I did it, I would tell you, and I would be proud of it, because fuck you."
Fuck you. Yeah.
um,
Literally.
But so that was the first time we met, and I think that was like 2017 or something like that.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds right. I think that would have been our first. Was that our first tour with Charmer or our second one? I don't remember.
yeah, I'm not sure.
But I know, yeah, it was a long time ago. It was either like right before Happy Again or pre Happy Again. But um but yeah, that's crazy. That's I forget about that show sometimes, or I should say I forget that was in Stevens Point,
Yeah,
because I remember being like, why are we playing in Stevens Point? And then we played in Stevens Point. It was
from what I
wild.
remember, Travis, my buddy whose house it was, he had said, I think he had said that you guys had a show cancel, and you were coming through there anyways, and somebody hit him up about doing a last minute. I remember it was a last
Oh,
minute thing.
yeah, because we were supposed to play at like a bowling alley or something somewhere. And because I remember
Nice.
someone commenting, being like, why the hell are you guys playing there? And then that one got canceled. So that was our first tour with Charmer then, that's so weird that was a thing. Because the second time that we met, you were in Meat Jelly playing a show, I think.
Yes, that was Easter 2019 or 2018. I think it was
2018, I think.
Yeah, that was
Maybe.
Easter Sunday, also in Stevens Point. Yeah, wow.
That's crazy.
I remember that. That was a fun one. God, Meat Jelly was ages ago. Oh, Carson says what up, by the way.
Oh, what up, Carson?
Yeah, he's down in Nashville now.
Oh, no shit. That's crazy.
Yeah, he plays in he's got his own band that does like
Boy Clothes? Is that what it is?
he's in Boy Clothes. He plays guitar in Boy Clothes. But then everybody in Boy Clothes is also in his project, Carson D. Bell and the End Times.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah. But anyways, so how does your most recent return to the Stars Hollow work feel compared to when you first started the project?
That's a very good question. I think it feels almost the same, in the sense that I don't feel pressure right now. So like when we recorded our first stuff and put out like I'm really not that upset about it. I just remember how good it felt to just be like, oh, I'm just making music. I don't have to like worry or feel pressure or anything.
Yeah.
And I think like between Happy Again, Tadpole, and I Want to Live My Life, it kind of created like throughout that time I felt like there was more expectations and I needed to like make it work. Otherwise the band couldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I just experienced a lot of stress in that regard. but so I think that that's why right now I feel kind of similar to when we first started, because like I'm doing this again because I want to. All of us are doing it again because we want to. It's like we don't have to. We're not like, I don't know, we're not like liable to any labels or any people. It's literally just like we want to do this
Yeah.
and we want to create something that we give a shit about. Um, so it's good in that regard. And I also just like am enjoying playing shows again, which is nice because I just had such a bad relationship with music for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so long way of just saying that it feels like it did when we first started, and that's a good thing.
Awesome. Yeah. I I wish it was like that. It's like that. I don't know. I just like, you also just graduated from graduate school.
Yeah.
So like everything.
Congrats on that, by the way.
Yeah, congrats to you too. Thank you. Everything up before like 2 weeks ago or a week ago Saturday, everything before that was like just absolute chaos. So
For sure.
yeah, hard to think in terms of that. But actually, since I brought that up, um, can you tell us a little bit about your journey with what you did in graduate school, and what it's meant to you, and what you're doing, you know, what your future is with that as well?
Yeah. So I decided to go to grad school basically because COVID was happening, and I was like, I don't know if Stars is gonna do anything ever again. And I didn't want to like stake my whole life on whether or not Stars was gonna do something again. And I wanted to get my master's degree before I turned 30. That was just kind of like a goal I had forever. And so I was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to just apply to this counseling program because I've always wanted to work as a counselor, a therapist, whatever it may be. And I was like, I'm just going to apply to this program. It seems really good. It's evenings and weekends. It's accredited by KCREP, which is like the big counseling accreditation. And so I applied, and initially I got put on the wait list, and I was like, okay, like it's a hard program to get into. Like, I'm happy with that, whatever. And then like 2 days later, I got the confirmation that I was in, and I was like, holy shit, that's kind of crazy. So the past like 3-ish years, almost 3 years, I've just been doing that, evenings, weekends, working full time. So I didn't really have time to like do music stuff, even if I wanted to. And oh my god, I'm only 100 off from killing you.
Yeah, I know. I'm just
that.
sitting here like, just finish it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but yeah, so I did that, and like I am doing my internship now, so I'm done with all my coursework. So I just have to do that, and then I'll be a licensed mental health counselor, which is cool. And I have a job offer already at a place where a friend of mine works, and basically she was like, yeah, if you need to take time off to go like do rock star shit, like that's fine. And I was like, okay. so I think things are just set up to where like I can find a good balance between doing music if I want to, and doing counseling and making a living.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Kyle wants to know if you can be their therapist or counselor.
I wish I could. Code of ethics, baby.
Oh yeah.
Stopping me from having any fun.
Yeah. So this time around, I know it's only been a couple of months, but what's been your favorite moment, you know, this time around, whether it's like you know, live performances or recording process or writing process, that kind of stuff?
I think the two things would be, one, like just playing shows in general. and playing some really cool ones like Burn Bright was really fun.
Yeah, I'm so sorry
Um,
I missed you guys.
oh, you're fine. You had a lot of shit going on. I do not blame you at all. Um, so I would say that like Homie Fest when we played that at the skate park was really really cool. Um, and then also I think just like the fact that we're writing again is cool. Like our next record, we're kind of in the we're gonna go record it in October with
Mhm.
Brett Roms. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but he recorded like all of Hot Mulligan's most recent stuff,
Oh wow.
Mom Jean's stuff. Like he's just worked with a lot of really really good bands in the genre. Um, and so we're working with him in October, and I have like technically like 18 song skeletons written, but 14 that I'm like happy with. Um, and so I'm just kind of like slowly working on those and kind of getting the guitar and vocal stuff figured out, and then everyone else will just kind of come in and just like add their stuff to flesh it out and help me with arrangements and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that like just playing shows again and having some good experiences and just getting in the saddle with writing again has been really cool, especially with how much I've been able to write. Like I've just felt very inspired, which is very nice.
That's awesome to hear. And obviously all of us fans are like super excited. Um yeah, just so geeked. I'm so happy that y'all are playing shows again and that we've gotten to play, together since you've come
Yeah.
back. And now, obviously, you've added Louis to the band as well.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
want to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, um basically I was just like when we recorded our newest EP in the flower bed, I kept writing stuff and being like I wish I had another guitar player like to help. Not even to help like write it so much as just like to know that I could write two guitar parts and have someone there to do it with me.
Yeah.
Um and I just started thinking about like the way that we do things live and just how cool it would be to have someone else. And so I
Hmm.
kind of like just put feelers out on the internet. Um and honestly like had like a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a lot of I will say very talented musicians reach out to the point where I was like in like a crisis of like
Yeah.
choice paralysis. Um and basically Louis was one that had kind of said something, and um I had seen a cover that he had done of Tadpole online, and I was like, okay, I know he can play it.
Hmm.
And I think that was the biggest thing for me was just like narrowing it down to people that I could see play something of ours and be like, okay, in my brain that's already like half the battle.
Yeah.
Um and so yeah, so I was just like, let's just give it a shot. Like see how it goes. And it wasn't necessarily going to be like a you're a member now thing.
Hmm.
It was just mainly supposed to be like a okay live guitar player, and if we want to get other people to have as options then we will. um but it kind of turned into after our first couple of shows everyone else in the band was like, so are we gonna like add Louis to the band? And I
Yeah.
was like, oh sure, I mean yeah. Like if everyone's in agreement, I didn't know how everyone would feel about it. Like um but everyone, yeah, Em and Andrew were both like, yeah, no, Louis is fucking cool and we sound sick as fuck. Um so yeah, so that's kind of how Louis came into the fray.
Hmm.
It was cool, and it's just been good to have like another guitarist because number one, like we sound I think a lot cooler, a lot bigger, and also he makes me want to be better because he is so good at guitar. Because when this band first started, it was like partially kind of like a like fuck you to my old band because like I wanted to write more and they just kind of always like push my ideas away, which is
Hmm.
fine. Like they had a
Yeah.
different thing in mind. I was like late teenager, early 20s at that time, so like I was being a baby about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but sorry, I got distracted by my plays here. But yeah, so I'm at a point now where I'm like, I want to be the best that we can. I want to have fun. I want to do it with friends, and I don't give a shit about anything else. And so like kind of fucking with the opportunity for like ego reasons is just so unnecessary, you know. So yeah, it's cool to have Louis. Louis rules. I wouldn't be surprised if eventually he has to quit or stop because he's got so much other cool shit going on. But
Mm-hmm.
um, we've got, you know, while we have him, and I hope we do for the long term, I'm very glad to have him. So
Yeah. Louis, like, if I had to choose another guitarist out of, like, the whole kind of scene right now, Louis would be my first choice. He's
oh yeah,
fucking crazy good. And, like, I I met Tiny Voices when I was in Meat Jelly. We played with them in Oshkosh in 20, I think it was 2019, like right when
oh
they
for sure.
started. And they were only doing covers of Charmer and like Tiny Moving Parts and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I remember we played at a place that was like no covers, and uh, they were fine because like the people who ran the bar didn't know any of those bands.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
we we did one
That's funny.
cover of a Jethro Tull song that nobody knows, and then the opening band that played did like Red Hot Chili Peppers and AC/DC and like fucking Guns N' Roses. It was really funny.
That's so sick.
It was really funny. They were, yeah, the people who ran the bar were not happy about that, but oh well.
Oh well, fuck him, you know. At this point.
But yeah, Louis and I go back. We were also Louis and I were also substitute teachers together at the same high school.
That's so sick.
Yeah, that was I really missed that. I think I took it for granted while it was going on. That was really cool. All right, I'm gonna get to the next one here. So can you walk us through what you believe to be like the musical process for you, or like what your approach to writing and like thematic planning is?
Yeah. That's a very good question also. Um, so I think writing for me is very much just like I need to want to do it. I need to have it just come to me. I can't sit down and be like, today I'm going to write things. Um, and so I think it kind of starts there, and it's pretty much always starts with the guitar. I try to like branch out and be like, oh, maybe I should like try writing a vocal line first or this first or that first, but it always comes down to the fact that I really need like a guitar skeleton to work with. And then if I decide like, oh, I want more of a vocal hook or something, I can change part of the song to be more like simple or whatever. What are you doing with this card? I need to read it.
No, don't read it. You didn't see it.
You know? Oh no, we're fine. We're fine.
God damn.
What just happened?
I don't know, but I think now I know what's going on.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But yeah, so basically it's like that. I just like kind of start there. As far as thematically, it kind of just comes to me like randomly, and then I kind of start building things around it, because like Happy Again was a concept. I Want to Live My Life was like a loose concept, and In the Flower Bed was a more solid concept. So those things, they just kind of come to me at one point, or like I'll write one line and be like, oh, okay, like I want it to be like kind of around that. And with our new record that we're recording in October, that's like pretty much what happened too, is like I just had like a phrase come into my head that just made so much sense to me as far as like what I want to say. And so now I'm kind of building a lot of that record around that without like forcing a theme, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I think it's just letting it come naturally and not forcing things, because I find that when I force things, they're always like so much worse than the things that I let come to me.
Yeah. I think David Lynch once said, make the art and then decide what it means later.
Yeah, no, that's pretty spot on. Like I'd rather just like bleed out whatever I'm like thinking or feeling, and then like literally there's times after we record where I'm like, oh, that's probably about this, because I don't really think about it that way ever.
I have no cards and no monsters, and I have to end my turn. That's awesome. That's so good.
This is Yu-Gi-Oh, baby.
It's time to duel.
Oh,
I
right.
guess
Riley asked another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just saw.
Yeah. Over time, or as you've grown, do you ever get the urge to tweak or update songs from the past? Or do you prefer to keep those as time capsules of where you were at the time?
That is such a good question. I think with I Want to Live My Life, I have a lot of that where I really, really want to go back and like change some things. And that's mainly just because.
Keep talking. I'm gonna run and get some water, but I'm listening.
Okay, gotcha. It's mainly just because like it just didn't turn out how I wanted it to in a lot of ways, and that's no one's fault really except for mine and the pandemic. But otherwise, like if I want to change things, I typically will just change things live. And it's usually just like little extra guitar riffs or whatever, but yeah, I mean the most I'll ever change in a song is like I might like throw in like a halftime thing or play a riff differently. But other than that, like I'm really not that upset about it, and Happy Again, like those I love just as they are because they are such a good snapshot of that time. I Want to Live My Life still feels recent enough to where I'm like, I wish I would have done so much of this differently. Yeah. So I think that's that.
I also think both of those releases are just perfect. Like the best example of like just a perfect release, in my opinion, from a fan standpoint.
Thank you.
I bought Happy Again from you when you played in Madison. You played at the Frequency, and I showed up and I only got to see your last song. But I bought a CD from you, and that CD was in my car. It was the only CD in my car, and I didn't have like an aux cable or anything. So I probably listened to it. I've probably heard it over 1,000 times easily.
That's so crazy. Hell yeah. That means a lot. Like for real, it does always mean a lot that you like fuck with that release so much.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I mean that release was really like that, and that 4-way split that you did with Catholic Werewolves.
Yeah.
That was like the first thing of yours that I had, and that leading into like Happy Again, and I'm really not that upset about it. Like really helped form like the what I wanted to do with music. Yeah, hell yeah! I've got one card. That's fucking great.
One card to my like 8.
Yeah,
no biggie.
But yeah, I love those everything that y'all have done.
Hell yeah! Thank you.
What do you hope to share the most with your fans or audience now that you're a little bit older and wiser, both as a musician and just in general?
I think number one is like balance. Oh man, this is gonna sound like such a bummer take, and I'm not trying to make it one, but like don't be afraid to like balance pursuing things that can help you live your life for the rest of your life and pursuing music. Because like I think a lot of people get like tunnel visioned or pipe dreamed on like, oh, I want to be in a band and I want to make it big and that's going to be what I do for my whole life. And that's like great, and I don't think I see a problem with that for a lot of people, but I think that it's also so important to consider your identity and the parts of you that are outside of music. Um, and so I just think that that's probably the biggest thing is like remember that you are more than just what you create. You are more than like just one aspect of yourself, because I kind of fell into that rut where once I lost music, I lost kind of the sense of who I was. Um, so I'd say that. And also just while doing that, also just have fucking fun. Like don't take things so seriously all the time. As long as you're like loving and respecting people and like not being a dick, like just have fun and enjoy what you're doing and appreciate it for what it is, I guess.
Hell yeah! Wow, that's a really good fucking answer.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you.
So I often like to think about how like what musicians or artists can learn from other artists. I think like I believe that like there's something to be learned from every single like live performance that you see, no matter what it is. Like what, and no matter what kind of music, like it could be a symphony or it could be a basement show. There's something to be learned from everything. What do you think the most important thing that musicians can take away from watching other musicians perform?
That's a good question again. I think that, man, for me personally, what typically sticks with me the most and like that I pay attention to the most is being able to tell that someone is authentically enjoying what they're doing and that they are being authentic in the way that it's presented. I just went to a concert yesterday, and I say concert because it was like a big venue with my girlfriend, and it was there were like a few artists I had never heard of who were like basically Machine Gun Kelly ripoffs.
Huh.
And like I just was like, man, I am not enjoying this because I feel like that's what they're doing. They're carbon copying this thing. They like are like, okay, this is how I should move on stage because I'm doing this and blah blah blah. Versus like I can't think of an example right away, but like they're just that's who. Oh my gosh, I forgot the name of the band. Hold on one second.
It wasn't From Ashes to New and Point North, was it?
It was. That was that was it.
Oh my god, dude. Okay.
No joke.
When you
keep talking, I can hear you.
When you said Machine Gun Kelly ripoffs, I work for the Sylvie in Madison, which is like the big Live Nation venue here, as a runner. I was their runner on fucking no
way.
On Wednesday, I think it was. Yeah, when they played here. That's so funny. That's so
hilarious.
Funny.
Yeah, so
I feel you 100% on that. I thought Point North was really fucking good. I had never heard them before.
So that's exactly how I felt. So Point North, this is actually kind of crazy. Their drummer Sage drummed for Stars Hollow for a little bit, like on tour.
No way.
Yeah.
I picked him up from the golf course here.
No shit. That's so cool. Yeah, he drummed for us, but he's also like filled in for like Bring Me the Horizon for a chunk of a tour, and like he's like big shit like drummer. But it's always, I always just think it's like fun fact shit that he was in Stars Hollow for like a very brief stint. But yeah, just back the example that I went to go look at because I got a T-shirt from them was I saw Record Setter when we played in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like a screamo band, and I was so fucking tired. It was toward the end of the night. We hadn't played quite yet. And their set just like rejuvenated me because they were being so fucking fun to watch while being authentic, and like it just like was very inspiring. And so I think that's the big thing, like authenticity with your art and not being a fucking Machine Gun Kelly ripoff is pretty cool. But yeah, Point North, I will say, just to reiterate that, of all those bands that I saw that night, Point North was like the one that I was like, okay, this is there's some cool shit going on here, and this feels like they're actually performing as opposed
Yeah.
to the other people who were just kind of like it was like 3/4 backtracks for everyone else. So
Yeah, well, I thought it was gonna be like a metalcore show because all they were bumping like the entire day was like Attack Attack and like
hell
uh
yeah.
fucking shit like that. And I usually make it like a thing to like if I've never heard of a band that I'm working for, I don't listen to them so I can like be pleasantly surprised or horrified when I see them live.
That's valid. Yeah.
But I feel the you know, authenticity. A perfect example of that was I worked Slater Kinney recently. Oh, fucking, of course. That's okay. Let's run it back, baby.
Run it back. Run it back.
I worked for Slater Kinney recently, and I'm a huge fan of theirs. Like their first 2 records are like, but they had an insane like the production value of their stage setup was crazy. You know, like one of the most intense light shows I've ever seen. But they still carried themselves on stage like a local band. You know, and then it's hard to like describe how that is. It's just kind of something you get that feel like they interacted with the audience, like talking to the audience between songs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it was like, you know, a basement show. And for them, I guess that's like that kind of music like kind of carries that with it. But I still think like, yeah, like being unpretentious almost is a good way to put that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you believe to be for anyone like getting what?
That's so weird that it timed out. Anyway, you keep asking your question. You're good. You're good.
I thought it said 800 seconds. I was like, what? I was like, how did you beat me without me doing anything? For anyone who's like learning music right now or like, you know, just getting started with stuff, what would you say is like absolutely imperative to the learning process?
For just learning music in general?
Yeah.
I would say I have kind of like the boomer answer and then kind of like the good answer. So boomer answer, which I think is important, is like learning good technique. Because like I still get punished like constantly by the fact that I picked up a lot of bad habits by being self-taught at first. Just like the way that I like fret, the way that I play, like I think I have a very unique way of playing that I'm proud of, but at the same time, there's times where I'm like, I feel like a caveman carrying a stick around, you know? So I think that's one thing, like that's my boomer answer. The boring answer is like, make sure you're learning technique for your instrument in a way that is like, you know, good for the long term, so that like recording, playing live, everything is easier. And then the other answer would be like, start writing stuff as soon as you can. Don't feel like you have to like be like totally good in order to start that process. I think a lot of people do that where they're like, well, I need to learn like music theory and all this stuff before I start writing. You don't need to know any of that shit. Like the amount of people that are shocked when I say that I can't read music is crazy, but I can't. I literally have no clue. So yeah, just start writing shit. Like even if it's just like a 10-second like little sing-songy hook or something, like fuck it, just do it, you know? Especially like at that early point, like it's not like anyone's gonna hear it. Like just have fun, you know? So that's what I would say. Boomer take, technique, get good in ways that are like forming good habits, and then the less boring take, absolutely just start writing shit as soon as you can.
Yeah, that's something that I like. wish I would have done. When I started out, I was doing a lot of like blues stuff, and that was like the extent of my writing stuff was just kind of jamming and like getting to the point where I didn't suck doing improv. But yeah, I think you're right. I think writing just anything is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah.
So what shows are you most excited for in the future coming up here?
I am very excited for so we're playing Fochella, which I'm very excited for. Everyone's always excited for that because it's just like, I don't know, the ultimate like DIY internet meetup,
Yeah, yeah.
So it's super super cool. I'm always excited for that. I would say that and Pugfest are two
Yes.
I'm really excited for, because we're playing with y'all at Pugfest.
Yeah, on Friday.
On Friday, yeah. So, and I think that'll be super fun.
That's going to be a lot of fun, and that's in Kyle's basement too. That's a really nice spot.
Hell yeah. That'll be cool. We have another fest that's not announced yet, that I'm excited for, and then y'all and Swell's EP release show, or your album release show.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun because I like playing in Wisconsin. Wisconsin's one of my favorite states to play in.
Yeah.
Because everyone's always just so like chill and cool.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And Madison like doesn't get enough like shows that are that well put together, I think. So I think everything there like fell into place like really well. I haven't even fucking gone yet. And you have I like never have. I always end up with like just 2 monsters in my hand and like nothing I could do to get more.
It's
I loved it. You love to see it, yeah.
You love to see it. That's the Yu-Gi-Oh, the Yu-Gi-Oh way, baby.
Yes.
It's terrible. It's a rough time.
Do you think you'll? Jesus fucking Christ!
Oh, I'm still going. Don't you worry.
All right. Okay. Do you think that you guys will do any you'll do any like major, not major, but like larger ish like touring next year or in the future?
I think so. I think it's more likely now than it has been in years. Partially because, like I said, we're recording a new record in October, and so that hopefully will be out like middle of next year, or probably a little later, but hopefully. So a big part of it is if we're offered a tour by a band that's like a little bit bigger and they're just like doing us a solid by taking us out, like we are like much more inclined to say yes these days, because it's just like that's the one thing that our band has never had that I think has kind of put us at a little bit of like I don't want to say disadvantage, but in a shitty situation where like a lot of bands that were around when we were either were taken on like bigger tours that kind of helped them with building up to where they are now. We've never really gotten that. Everything that we've ever done has been like we put it together, or we're with a band that's like the same caliber as us. So I think that's one thing, is that we would like if we get an offer for a really cool tour by a cool band that's like reputable, then we're like much more likely to say yes than we've ever been, I think.
Yeah.
And then in general, even if we don't do that, like if we're putting out music, we need to promote it and we need to tour. And so once that record's out, we'll definitely do something, because otherwise I will have wasted a lot of money for no reason. I don't need to be doing that so soon after grad school.
Yeah, so. I feel that. Preach on the getting on a big tour. That's the
the dream.
It's the dream. So there's another thing that Kyle just wanted to just mention this before I kind of go into talking about your feature on our album. But so when we started the band, like the Kyle came and tried out on Tadpole. That was like, I was
That's
like,
so sick.
anyone, like, I want someone, like, if somebody can cover this well vocally, then they are in the band. And yeah, Kyle did great. And that was back when we had the original drummer from Meat Jelly, Jamie.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But when we, kind of flash forward to a year after that, or a little less than a year after that, we were playing a show in Iowa, and we did a cover of Tadpole. And I told everybody in the car, I was like, I don't want to play this because just on the off chance that somebody who knows Tyler is there and they record it and send it. And of course, I think was it Jace?
Jace, yeah.
Yeah, Jace took a video and sent it to you, and I was like, oh my god.
I was geeking. It was so cool.
Yeah, when you reposting that was a huge deal for us.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely like the beginnings of EMWAY stem from your work. God, none of this is good. None of this is good. So flash forward to like you having you feature on our album is like, that's a huge thing for us. So like, thank you so much for doing that. And then if you want to just talk about like your feature a little bit and like your process doing that.
Yeah, no. Well, for one, like that, it means a lot to me that y'all like gave a shit about us so much, or gave a shit about us so much. Because yeah, I don't know. I have a very major tendency to just feel like people don't care. And I think a big part of why we've come back is because of y'all and just some like the general like Wisconsin scene, because it made me feel like people did care and it did matter what we were doing. And so yeah, so first off, thank you, because I appreciate you and giving me a reason to do this shit. And then yeah, no, I think I can't remember if it was on the EMWAY account. Someone hit me up and was like, "Hey, do you want to do this feature?"
Yeah.
And I was doing stuff for In the Flower Bed, I think, at the time. Like I was finishing up vocals for that, and so I was like in the studio a lot anyway. And I kind of thought about it because sometimes I like, when I get in certain like episodes, I sometimes am like the smallest things can feel so huge to me. And so I think you got me at a very good time where I was like, yeah, that sounds super fun actually, and I want to do that, because I was just like, if I'm in a depressed mood, I'll sometimes just be like, oh man, that sounds fun, but I just can't do it. Like, so I remember being like, yeah, like that sounds really fucking cool. And so, yeah, I remember Kyle telling me like, hey, like this is kind of the part, try to do it like this. Here's another part that you can do if you want to. But like no pressure either way. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this. The thing is that like me and Kyle have very, very different like vocal styles,
Mm-hmm.
in the way that we like phrase things, and the way that like I kind of like throw a little bit of like the singing into it.
Yes.
And so I think that was one part where I spent some time, like when we were in the studio, I was like, I need to try this like 6 times. And just get it to where it makes sense for my voice, because our voices are just a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, so then when I did it, I'm trying to think. I remember all the glory days thing. I remember like doing that and being like, oh, this is sick. Like it's just, this song's really cool, and I feel like I can actually bring something to it to make it a little bit different. So yeah, so I mean, so just working on it like in the studio. I was like really stoked about it. I didn't think y'all were gonna use the second, like the bridge part that I did. So when I heard the song with it in, I was like geeking because I was like, oh shit, they liked it. That's cool. Um, so yeah, I don't know. It was just a cool experience, and it was like I've done a lot of like random vocal features, and I think this was one of my favorites just because the song felt like something that, like, how do I put it? It felt like something that a band that I'm in would write. Not necessarily to say it sounds like Stars Hollow, but like if I were in a band, I feel like a song like that is something that I would like be stoked about writing.
Yeah.
And so I was just excited to be part of it. And it's just a really good record all around. Like I listened to it like a lot this week, so I think I'm just very grateful that y'all like let me be a part of it.
I didn't even realize it was my turn.
I don't know whose it was. It's a lot. Yukio's a lot, let me tell you.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, we were just so stoked to have you on it, and I think I think your like that interlude part was fucking, it goes so hard. Like it really like makes that part pop, I think. You know, and honestly, like I usually like, it's typically just because we have horrible like sound systems for practicing and stuff. I usually don't know what the lyrics are until we record them.
Oh, for sure.
And like I can't hear exactly what the vocals are gonna sound like. So yeah, it was just, I loved it.
Hell yeah. No, yeah, thank you. I appreciate you and all y'all for asking me. It's sick as hell.
And then one last question. If a famous celebrity were to get you pregnant, who do you think it would be?
See, okay, so that's a hard question because there's like the answer of who would I want it to be,
Yeah.
but versus like who it would be. I don't know. It'd probably be something like in a perfect world it'd be like Anya Taylor-Joy, but in my world it would be like Ray Romano, you know.
Yeah, nice. Ray, you know, like honestly, I could see that. I could see Ray Romano or Brad Garrett even. Anybody from the cast of Everybody Loves Raymond.
I used to watch that going to sleep as a kid, and I think it did some damage.
Yeah.
To my brain, but
if that's the case, would you keep the child if it were Ray Romano?
Ray Romano? Absolutely not. I mean,
okay.
I like if he's anything like he was in the show, incompetent father and husband, wouldn't keep it at all. And I honestly, I saw this question when you sent it to me before, but I did not think about it at all. And so the fact that Ray Romano is genuinely my like, I was like, that's what would happen somehow. I don't know.
That's a great take. That's a really good take.
It's a take, all right.
Well, hell yeah, man! Thank you so much for doing this with me. This has been super cool. I suck at Yu-Gi-Oh. I've learned that.
I'm sorry I put you through this.
No,
I wish.
It's okay.
I wish I liked games. I wish I liked good games. Like I was like, oh, should I like try playing Overwatch or try playing like Call of Duty or something?
Yeah.
I'm so bad at those kinds of games. So I was like, I need to choose something that makes me look competent to some degree. So.
No, I'm always down to play. I think I'm playing Destiny 2 with Ben from Tiny Voices, and I've never played that before.
Oh shit!
And then Louie and I are playing a game called Who's Your Daddy? I don't know if you know that one.
No, but that sounds amazing.
It's just a 2-player like multiplayer game where it's like an indie game, and it's like one person plays as the baby and one person plays as the dad, and the baby's objective is to kill itself, and the dad's objective is to keep the baby from dying.
I'm so mad that we didn't play that. We should have played that. That would have been so sick.
I should have brought it up.
When we put out our next record, if I decide to have an EMWAY feature. We'll do this again.
Yeah.
Roles are, we'll play the baby daddy game.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, great talking to you, dog. I will see you in. Well, I'll see you at Fochella because I'm coming
Yeah.
to that. I'll be tagging along for that one.
Hell yeah. Are y'all playing that Chicago show before Coachella?
No. We like Connor asked Kyle if we wanted to play Fochella, and everyone in the band was like, yes, absolutely. And Kyle just forgot to hit up Connor about it. So
Oh no.
we're not. I
Y'all
think
y'all
we
should
would have.
y'all should play like a secret set or something, or like an after show.
That would
You should-
be nuts. I'm gonna try and make it to that Chicago show because that looks super dope, and I've never been to the upstairs of Sub T. So
Yeah,
that
it'll
looks
be
super
cool.
dope.
It's like Diet Fochella.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, yeah. I'll catch you later. Have a good one.
Hell yeah. Take it easy. Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Have a good one.